What up, brother? Welcome back to Golden Dice Podcast. Tuesday.
He didn't pass that one by us.
The flock went.
Brian left. Just straight left.
Welcome
Holy.
to Golden Dice Podcast, episode number 22. Brian shakes his head, but every time
Brian's
you do it, he laughs.
Ryan's our special player.
Brian's easily
Special
mute.
teams, special plays,
What are you
special
fucking
players.
doing the hand jive? One potato, two potato. What
Come
is
on,
this?
Scott. You got to get plugged into the internet.
I should have
Look,
stayed asleep.
I don't want to know what it is. Whatever that is, I don't want a part of it.
Well, that's probably fair. Brian, since you're like the most energetic, how was your week? What have you been playing in SWU? What's your life in SWU been like for the last 2 weeks, actually?
My life in SWU has just been getting beat by Jack. Publicly. Humiliatingly. Regularly.
You talking about Swoo still?
Nah. What have I been doing? That's a great question. The last weekly I played Vader. That was fun.
You did.
I almost stole it off of Scott,
Yep.
but Scott in the end reigned supreme. So, still enjoying it. Great game. Love it. Here for it. That's it.
Scott, what about you?
I only have one deck. I haven't made
That's
anything
true.
else. So I tried to play Shane's budget deck, and it just traumatized me so much that I'm like, nah, I'm just going back to the showcase.
Honestly, that's fair. It was an IG deck without Ruthless Raider.
Yeah, it was
If you wanted IG
pretty
showcase,
crazy.
I have one for you. You
I
could have borrowed
don't-
my
I
IG
don't.
showcase,
I mean,
and it would have
like-
been better.
The plus side is you could probably sell that IG showcase that you bought for $90 and make like double your money. So it's a good
Yeah.
investment. Flockton made a good investment somehow.
That's because we pressured him into it. It wasn't.
Yes,
His
it
own.
wasn't an option. No, yeah, Palpatine and took the big L to Jack on the Monday weekly event. Just the cheer it. Just couldn't get around that guy.
Dang churros.
True. Yeah. Flock, what about you?
Yeah, the churro got me too. I was playing.
I mean, I literally played all three of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played Luke Mono Blue. I think it's a fun deck to play.
Ugh.
It's annoying to play against because I just vigilance and heal for 4.
Yeah, but you don't do anything.
Yeah, then you just lose. That's like-
You just sit there.
I'll heal 5 and I'll lose next round.
Yeah, so it's still fun to play. I mean, you can still pump out some damage. It's fun getting like.
How many rounds did you get a time at all?
No, I finished all my
Okay.
games quickly. I
Alright.
play quickly. I mean, like the decks. Well, it's
you
a rebel
lose
deck,
quickly.
so you can easily like do some aggro stuff to it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty quickly. But yeah, play Luke. Play a little bit Cassian in my webcam league. And
Do you just
and then-
like, hurting yourself?
yeah, I like playing different stuff and not meta stuff. So that way, when I say I'm bad, I blame the deck and not me. Because if I lose,
It's a coping
with, like,
mechanism.
if I lose with like Boba or something like that, it's like, well, I can't blame me. Well, I mean, I
That's
can't blame the deck. I have to blame me. So when I play a bad deck, it's like, yeah, it was the deck. Having fun.
I don't know. If people watch you play, I think they can quickly determine, no matter the deck.
He's gonna
I don't
find
think he even got the.
he's gonna find
I
his.
don't
one
think he even
day.
understands this, dude.
One day he'll find his, and it'll just be like intrinsic Rain Man type moments.
It'll come. And then for me, yeah, I played Churro the last 2 weeks, and it's gone well. Churro aggression, some force throws, some forces with me, all that good stuff, and been going pretty well.
Yeah, I just feel like things that can play A-wing into wing leader are good.
Especially if you draw A-Wing and Wing Leader or Fleet
Yeah.
Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just works. A-wing good.
And then a force with me.
I mean,
on
wing
main
leader's
game.
better than fleet.
Make
Fleet's
it
not.
a 7 attack. Not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you just-
Well, see,
you-
again,
yeah.
you play decks that don't interact with board states at all, so it doesn't matter what I do. You're just not gonna be able to stop it.
I mean, my vid kill anything 3 or less, but then you decide to just buff it up all the way. And
Yeah,
I feel
3
like,
or less is like all turn
I
one
didn't feel
plays.
I mean, I do have Vanquish on my sideboard, but I just didn't feel like sideboard.
You don't have Vanquish in your main deck?
Yeah, it's a mono
Uh,
blue.
It's a sideboard.
I do. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Not only you can't blame it on the deck if you're the one making the deck, and you're just thinking that Vanquish is somehow not among the 50 best cards you can run.
Nah.
Nah.
No.
Nah, fam. Nah.
Well, on that note, we're gonna play a game that we haven't played in some time. Bring the energy level up. Get Brian to wake up. Flock was out here.
Brian was asleep.
Gonna say, Scott and I came ready. Well, actually, I sent the link out. Scott didn't see it. Flock joined and then said he was trying to read the serial code on his microphone for 10 minutes. And I had to FaceTime and call Brian twice to wake him up.
Did you call twice? I thought it was just once.
Oh, maybe it was, maybe it was just the call and then the FaceTime.
It was a call and a FaceTime. Yeah.
Wait, if Alan is listening,
None of those cracks.
None of that's coming through.
damn.
all you see is just Scott like making the face.
Apparently my microphone's too good. It doesn't pick up like ancillary sounds like that. Shit.
Our audio listener only are very confused right now.
Yes. They just heard dead air for 10 seconds.
All right, well, we're going to play the blind ranking game, which we have done on the podcast before. We did when we were in Minnesota, and we're bringing it back. And Scott, you're going to be up first. So
All right, I'm up first. All right.
1 is the best, 5 is the worst.
All right, I'm ready and raring.
Your first card is General Veers. 3 cost, 3/3 Imperial Official. Other Imperial get +1/+1.
He's gonna have to go down to like 4. He just does not see. He does not see the deck. He does not see the table. Like maybe in a weird Tarkin build, but there just is not a place for him at the moment.
I feel that. Next up, you have an event bombing run. 5 cost, aggression. Choose an arena, ground or space. Deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena.
I will go with 3 for that. It has its place in certain metas, in certain decks to deal with certain things, but it is obviously not a card that you're going to be like main decking in all circumstances in all metas. So it's a 3.
Hey, it kills Veers, so it's got to go above him.
It does kill Veers. Yes, it definitely does that.
And next card is Takedown.
Takedown. Ooh.
4 cost, vigilance.
Yeah.
Defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP.
I'm gonna give myself a little wiggle room. Put it at 2. It is extremely good. If I was running Pout Blue and I had Takedown, Chirrut probably wouldn't be an issue at all. It is really good against those leaders that come out and have those weird stat lines like your Chirrut, like your Idens, and there's probably going to be others like that. You can extend its reach by just doing a little bit of damage or something. So, someone comes in with like a Vader, they use their ambush, and then you can take down the Vader. It works. It's, a very versatile card. It's going to be a staple of decks that can run it for a while.
And it's your store championship promo. Participation promo.
Pretty cool looking art too.
Your 4th card is U-Wing Reinforcement.
Well, it's not 5, so it's got to be 1.
Yeah.
In hindsight, Takedown probably should have been 1 over that, but U-Wing Reinforcement is a very good card. I just sold a few of them, so, it being 1 is completely fine. They're probably going for like $10 or something silly like that, or even more right now. But no, it's a good card. Floods the board, repopulates, can be very helpful if you're playing into those control decks that are, looking to super laser you. They super laser you, U-Wing Reinforcement, and they are immediately having to, dig for another super laser to get out of that predicament.
Yep. And your final card, which will go into the 5th slot, is Outer Rim Headhunter. Scott, I think you got a good list here.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with that one.
I think you played that. So it's U-Wing, Takedown, Bombing Run, Veers, and Outer Rim Headhunter.
See, the thing is, like, I'm sitting there like, what the hell does the Outer Rim Headhunter actually do?
Yeah, and if that's a thought that pops in your head for the card on your 5th.
So Outer Rim Hunter has Raid and it's a 2-drop space unit, and yeah, you on attack if you control a leader, you get to exhaust a enemy unit.
It's just it's just very unremarkable.
Yes.
It's definitely never going to see play once we start talking about once set 2 hits and we talk about one of the spoiled cards in there. Like it's never going to exist at that point. But yeah, no, I'm fine with that at 5. It could easily have been 4 or 5, but fine with that at 5. I think I'm happy with my result.
Makes it into some like villain decks if they need like a space turn 1 play, but never.
It wasn't
really
my casting deck. It wasn't my casting deck.
Yeah,
but like the bench for yellow, the bench for yellow anything, is pretty. Yeah, I don't even think they want to play that. They're just going to go with the 7th Fleet Defender.
Well, yeah, I just turned. Yeah, that's a 3-drop if they absolutely wanted that. But yeah,
doesn't actually do anything. Doesn't kill an A-wing.
Yeah, I don't play it. All right, on to Tyler, the Falcon.
The Falcon. Falcon has landed.
Falcon has landed.
Can't train a Falcon.
Speaking of 3-cost spaceships, this is honestly destiny. I hit random. I promise you.
That's
we have the
lot.
Celestials. The Consortium Star Viper, dude.
The conventional Star Viper.
Is 1
cost,
the
3/3.
best one, or is
1
5?
is the best.
1 is the best.
It's
5's
just
the
like
worst.
Scott ranked it.
All right. Like Scott ranked it. Okay.
While you have the initiative, you restore 2. 3/3.
A very good card. I really like it. It's a 3. It's in almost every single green deck for the most part.
Are you rating it 3?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's what it sounded like you were doing.
No, 2. 2.
So he's putting it 2.
I thought I said 2. Maybe I said it in my head and didn't say it out loud.
I thought you were like, well, it's a 3-cost, it's a 3/3, it's a 3 of in every deck, so I'll put it 3.
No, it's going 2. It's going 2.
All right, next up, we have the Ardent Sympathizer. 3-cost, aggression, ground unit, 3/3. While you have the initiative, you get +2 attack.
In theory, I like it, but it's trash. It's 5.
5. Ooh.
Yeah.
Shane had it in his budget deck.
Well, it's Shane.
That's
and it's a budget
tracks.
deck.
We got the Star Viper again. It's just it knows Flock is up.
Consortium. Consortium Star Viper.
The Mercenary Company. 6 costs. Command,
Ambush
ground
overwhelm.
unit, 5/5, ambush overwhelm. Budget Vader if you don't have Vader.
Yeah. I probably put it 3. Good 3 cost. Not 3 cost. 3 slot.
Yeah. They know what you
It's
mean.
6
hopefully.
cost.
Maybe.
6 cost. Yeah. I mean, it's good. Overall, it's good. And yeah, I'd rather Vader for 1 more resource. But yeah, I think it's still pretty good. Get that ambush. Get overwhelm.
Next up, we got Restock. It's a 1-cost event. No aspect on it. Choose up to 4 cards in discard pile. Put them on the bottom of their owner's deck in a random order.
Yeah, I'll put that at 4.
Yeah. Hey, this is seeing some sideboard right now with all the vigilance tech coming into the world for these control mirrors.
Just fat stack them.
That suck.
Yeah, you can. But the funny part is that when you play this event, you can bring back itself and 3 vigilance in your deck too. So like if it's in a control mirror where you guys are mailing each other out, you could actually bring those 4 cards because the event's already in the discard pile while it's like being resolved.
Yeah, while it's being resolved.
All right. And then number 1, by default, Syndicate Lackeys. 5
Yeah.
cost, cunning, ground unit, 5/4, ambush, underworld. So
I
Flock's
really like
list
this one.
is Syndicate Lackeys, the Star Viper, Mercenary Company, Restock, Ardent Sympathizer.
He got like really shitty
I would
cards.
say these are all kind of rough. Star Viper.
What do you mean? I think
Star
they're great
Viper would have
cards.
been the one out of that.
Yeah.
Star Viper is the one out of that group.
I almost put it 1 because,
But I agree
I
that
would
you
have
can't.
laughed
Like
at
2
you,
is
but then
a
you
good
would have been
pick.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 2's a good spot for it, especially when it was my first one.
Yeah.
Can't just put mine.
Yeah, you got to play the game too, right? You're playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, play the cards you dealt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right,
Dry
Brian.
guy's turn. The dry guy.
I gave you a
Dry guy.
chance to wake up, so your mind has got to be going. Ready?
Sleepy bear, wake up.
Didn't work.
First card you got is Wing Leader. 3 cost, heroism, space unit, 2/1. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly rebel unit.
Getting that card first. Oof, that's rough. I instinctively want to put it lower just because I know I'm going to get better cards. That's my luck, you know. But I'm going to put it right smack dab in the middle at 3.
Okay.
Good card, but
Flock would have put that at 1 with the PTSD he's experienced.
True, or 2.
probably.
Yeah.
Great
That'd
card. Love the experience.
Yeah, I don't
Weak
know if
body
you
on the
can
board.
get two better than the wing leader, so we'll see.
I have faith.
Next up is 7th Fleet Defender. 3 cost, cunning, villain, space unit, 3/2, and shielded.
Mm-mm.
Oof, that's rough because
That's a 3.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Oh crap. Well, it's gonna have to be
Fucking
4,
conundrum.
I guess. I'm gonna have to. This
Ooh,
is
what
going
do
so
we
bad.
got?
You gotta hope you
so
get some
bad.
legendaries in there.
I know.
Okay, all right. ISB agent. So
5, easy 5.
That's a
Oh, I'm so screwed.
I hope we
I'm
get
so
like
cooked.
Underworld Thug or something next.
I'm cooked, dude.
Oh, Academy Defense Walker.
2.
Yeah.
Dude,
What a
Brian loves that
disappointing card. You had high hopes for this thing. And it just
I loved that card. It's always just falls flat. Because
It comes out. It's like odd timing, and you're like,
Yeah, it's
do I
awkward.
really want this right now?
awkward. It's understated. I never usually get the bonus off. Like, I don't know.
It's not a 2.
What do we got?
And your number 1 is Battlefield Marine.
Oh, saved.
That's fine. I mean,
All right, so if I was making the real list, I would slot Walker down at 4, 7th Fleet at 3, Wing Leader at 2. And I wanted to put Wing Leader higher, but like the first card, that's tough. That's tough. I'm okay with that list.
I feel like it would have been a safe 2 just because it sees play in like
everything.
every
Everything.
light side deck.
Yeah.
And it
arguably,
is
the
like
best
the
turn
it
2
is
play.
it is the turn 2 play you want to see.
I was expecting some heat.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. So
I mean, you got good cards compared to
Yeah.
Falcon.
that's a decent list. That's a decent list.
Like,
It's
ISB
long.
Agent at 5 is objectively correct out of that 5, but it's not
Yeah.
terrible.
No, I would probably
5 and the 1 are correct. It's 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
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 Where it gets all jumbly.
Yeah. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Am I doing it for you, Jay?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I could just hit random here.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
It's not like you can cheat.
Okay, ECL number 1. If I could pick up my here just to make sure, I'm not cheating. Just gonna go ahead and see just confirmation ECL.
Oh
the
yeah, because
blurry screen.
I can count the pixels.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can see the pixels.
I
It's
mean,
like
I
ECLs and the
that blob
the
does
wit-
look like
the witness
ECL.
protection program. Jesus,
mean, I read LCE, but
Well, that's a different problem.
you're dyslexic.
well, no, because it was a camera, it was reversed.
Yeah, well. All right,
All right,
Yeah,
it's a
ECL
good
number
joke.
1.
number 2.
Locking
Yeah,
it in.
ECL number 1. Aggression. It's the 3rd best double aspect card. Man, I think 3 or 4 is where I'm going. But like, there's a lot more cards worse than that. It's just like double red decks. I'm gonna go 3. I'm gonna go 3 with it. The card is pretty good, but I feel like like Brian. I feel like we can get some heat.
Yeah.
All right. Agent Callus. I'm gonna go with 4. I think Callus is
Alice
worse
fell off.
than aggression. Yeah, you just got a lot of better stuff at 5. Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, dude.
Worse than both those things?
Bro, but he's in your OTK Palp deck, dude.
Yeah, that's true. He is in my OTK Palp deck.
Can't be
I
that
love
bad.
Java.
And he's got a thick booty. But is he better than aggression?
Booty.
We'll go 5. We'll go 5, and we'll gamble, and we'll hope, and we'll dream. We'll
Ooh.
dream.
So what do you got left? 2.
Yep. Make an opening. You know,
I like that card.
I don't
That's
hate
fine.
it. Like, it's a pretty
Yeah, it's
fine
fine.
card.
I mean, it's like aggression's better, but it's red. red, so you're kind of like, make an opening will be in more things.
Yeah, you're more likely to play against make an opening than you are. If you're a boba player, you're probably like, this is your number one arch nemesis. Get through your
All those,
7th fleet and your
Yep.
Yep.
crafties. But all right, so mine was ECL, make an opening, aggression, callus, Jabba. Out of anybody, I think either Scott or Flock won that. Will be my guess. I think those two had good lists. Flocks were just all around terrible cards, so it's like hard to separate
Yeah,
them.
there's
Scott
no
at least
hard
had
to
some
delineate.
separation.
Flocks are all 5
Mine
subjectively.
I mean,
is-
so-
like, all
I
right,
think you play
so
Scramble and it's the same list.
objectively, his only playable card he had at 3.
The Consortium.
Yeah, two. Yeah, so.
At 2. Never
Yeah.
mind. All right, 2 is fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
if he had it at 3 originally, that would be a
Oh
problem.
my god, Flock's never gonna say that, or he's never gonna say it right. Never.
Never ever.
I have explained 17 different ways that you could probably do that, and he goes Constorium, Constordium,
Celestial. Still my
Constellarium.
favorite. I looked at
Consigliere.
that. Celestial. Where do you even CE?
It's a tough word. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh. He also, his phone also autocorrected the other day to Churro, so now it's Churro.
Well,
Are We.
no.
Churro, I'm we.
No. So I didn't know how to spell churret, so I just said churro because.
Oh my God, I should've
Bro,
stayed
what
asleep.
I said was better for you. You made it. Is
Yeah,
now
you did
Oh,
not have to correct
I mean,
that.
yeah, it was auto corrected to churro. You're right. Yeah.
Churret. So I said Churro.
There's
I
no
didn't
way
know if
you're
it
a
was
real
UI.
human being, bro. Dude, you're such a bot. Such a bot, dude. Press X to talk to Tyler.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad I brought that up so we got the clarification.
Yeah, I appreciate.
So, okay.
Flocken is that kid you kick under the table when, like, they're... Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy. Oh.
All right, Churro.
So, moving on.
Just defaulted to Churro.
His brain defaulted to Churro. His brain auto-corrected to Churro.
I gave him an out. I said he autocorrected. Okay, all right. Bring it in. Breathe. All right.
Ooh.
So on Tuesday this past week, we had
Tuesday,
Big news.
Tuesday.
Big news.
Tuesday.
Big news.
I
Jim
spent so
Cartwright
much time
did
with y'all.
a
It's ridiculous.
surprise stream, giving us an update on supply issues and where they've been at and how Star Wars Unlimited has sold, which, before we even get into it, is insane to think about, right? All our FFG games in the past, I'm not sure anybody's experienced this. We were even high praising the tweet that they sent out, talking about just their plans and giving us an update for that earlier, and people thought that was awesome. And now for Jim to come and sit down on a live stream, it was like short. I think it was like 8 minutes. So I encourage you to head to their YouTube and check that out. But yeah, so they sat down, and I'll run through the points, I figure, and then we could talk because a lot of them kind of overflow into each other.
Yep.
So the main points we have is that FFG printed more of Star Wars Unlimited Set 1 than all of Destiny's first year and went through all of it in less than a month. They were surprised at how fast the stock depleted, and they want to thank everyone, especially Brian, for getting on board with SWU. There will continue to be a small allocation to stores of Set 1, specifically for limited play events at LGSs. Set 1 reprint will release before the end of the year near the holidays. Specific dates are not defined yet, but will announce when they're ready. They will be increasing the print run for Set 2 and will release it in waves at launch. This production increase is already happening as a result of how quickly Set 1 sold. Any points to that? However you're feeling, where you guys at with this? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Perfect.
Yeah, please.
I think it's very good clarification. Because right now we're seeing, if you're on like TCG Player or anything like that, eBay, you're seeing like all the legendaries and even like rares price going up because like limited supply. So it's good to see that they, understand that, and they've already been planning for this, and they're already planning on like restocking it as soon as possible. Obviously, they can't just do it right away because there takes time for this. But also the fact that like everything sold out within the first month more than they are expecting, that's freaking fantastic. That means that a lot of people are playing this, or there's a lot of whales like Brian. So
I'm very sensitive about my weight.
I was talking about how much you bought for your boxes, dude. But yeah, I think it's good positive stuff. I know there's a lot of people upset about the limited supply now, but I think it's better than any other games. Like I think Lorcana was a lot worse than this, for sure. So at least like for the most part, people that got into the game, when it came out, that were anticipating, got into it. Yeah, it's 6 for people getting into it now, but I think once set 2 comes out, everyone should be able to get set 2 for what they want, hopefully, and then we can go on from there.
It was relatively
Coherent.
spoken. Yeah.
I don't even know what I just said.
How many
Yeah,
churros?
he
come in
just
a
he
box?
blacked out. He blacked out.
I blacked out.
If and I think I said this on our Discord, and I was like, all right, if FFG had come out before, like when they were just like getting together with Star Wars Unlimited, and was like, hey, party people, we're gonna make as much for set 1 of Star Wars Unlimited as we did for the entire year of Destiny. I don't think anyone's response to that would have been like, that's not enough. They would have been like, that seems like a lot. I think the response would have been like, you're kind of crazy, just when you think about it in that sense. And, you got to, because Destiny, when it was first came out, like, it was the 4th best-selling card game for like a fair bit of time. Now, times are different from that time. There was like a resurgence of TCGs. You have your Lorcanas, you have your One Piece, you have your Flesh and Blood that didn't exist back in Destiny's days. So like the market for card games is a little bit different. But I don't think anyone would have said like that FFG was playing it safe if they had come out with that information like initially. Not in as if they had included that information as part of their like initial pitch of like, this is what we're doing different. So I can't really fault them on that, and I have to look at it from like a standpoint of there is a limited amount of money that they are going to be approved to spend on a game prior to that game making them any money back. Like there is no galaxy in which any company would write a blank check for a new product. So you only have like, there's a limit. There's going to be a ceiling to that. And sometimes you just have it's a good problem to have, but it's a problem when you can't keep stock on the shelves.
Yeah. It's much better situation, I feel like, than any other TCG set 1 that I've been.
Yeah, the recent like wave of things like Lorcana was, even if you were interested in it ahead of time, you didn't get it.
Yep. Well, yeah,
And
this
then
is like
One Piece was like the same thing. Like even if
Mhm.
you were interested in it ahead of time, you didn't get it.
Yep.
Flesh and Blood was a little bit different because it came out during COVID and it was out and then it got popular. It wasn't, there wasn't a lot of like initial hype to it. So that's a little bit of a different thing there. But I think their launch was better. They had stock for like no stores were allocated initially. They got everything they wanted. So like all of their initial orders were filled. But for a game that does have a substantial amount of design put into the limited play, not being able to keep product on shelves, bit of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, even this week, tomorrow technically, we're recording Thursday, a new One Piece starter comes out that I would like to get. I like to generally still get the starters. And to get that, I can't even really go to my local game store. I have to like drive to Targets and Walmarts and hope to get it, which I don't totally feel like doing. And I compare that, and that's just starter sets. And I compare that to Lorcana, same thing. Brian and I were interested in that from when it got announced, and then closer to we were interested in like pre-orders, but no stores really did it. They weren't sure what they were getting. And then it came out, and it was like every store around us was like $200 for a box, and you could only get one. And then I look at how this went, and obviously we were interested for a very long time for SWU, but we pretty much went to our LGS and we're like, this is how much you want. And they're like, okay, do you want more?
And we could have bought more, yeah.
Yeah. And even
And I did.
our owner at Red Caps says they're ordering 35 cases for the set, which is insane. It's the most
They're
he's
probably
ordered
doing more.
for and he said they can go up because they said a lot of people are bumping up to a case at least, or beyond that as well. And that's almost going to be my point as well, that I'm curious how much their set 2 like product has jumped up, because now I feel like going into set 2, I almost think people might buy more because they don't want to be caught out, and then also
they
the new
don't want-
people and stuff
yeah.
like that. Like even for
I
us,
would
I
agree.
bought 8 or 9. I'm like, for set 1, I'm like, do I just 12 off the rip, dude?
And your expectation was to actually decrease
Yeah.
the amount that you were buying, because like obviously when it's new and you're like I want everything, and then set 2 you can be like I don't need everything because I already have some. But
Yep.
Nah,
I
I'm
think-
gonna buy less.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that's
fair.
like I mean,
Okay,
you know,
but
even if you do, you're still buying 5 times the amount of a normal human being.
True.
Yeah.
Again, we're really serious about my weight. Can we stop, please?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We are not body shaming you.
To hop off of that though, I think that it's really interesting. I mean, it's great that they brought up Destiny, because this is the point in time where people are usually like in the span of the chat, right? If things are going by, dead game, dead game, dead game, on the boat jokes, on the boat jokes. Like can't wait for this. Game's over, and people are like, listen, Al Gaib, FFG is so good, it's incredible. And they are. I mean, this is a totally different company. We've been saying that from the jump. They're not only did they, tweet it, do a pre-recorded video, they also gave us a little art to talk about. So like,
Yeah, they knew
They
what
didn't
they
have-
were
they-
doing with
yeah,
that.
Gave
They knew
pathetic,
they're
yeah.
like, all right, we're not giving the best of news, so we're gonna
Yeah.
sneak in some good stuff.
and so like that to me just screams like, I immediately was like, I'm going up.
It's
Maybe I'll buy the same amount I bought last
it's
time.
a
I don't
more
know.
it's a more competent response. I will say, like, not having the reprint out until we're talking like 7-ish months from now, 6-7 months from now. That's a little like
I got my fill. It's okay.
I really wish, I really wish that was a little sooner.
Yeah.
But I understand that the priority is probably making sure the print run of set 2 is upped significantly so that you can sustain product for longer.
Well, and them adjusting that right on the rip too is great as well, because
It's good, like if you're looking from a timeline standpoint, they weren't able to adjust the print run of Destiny set 2 initially because of the lead-in time between production and shipping. So they were just like set 2 also had the same issue set 1 did, whereas in this case they have a chance to correct, which I think will go a long way to avoiding the Destiny problem, which was by the time they got in front of the supply issues, they had bled too many people. Too many people were like, I was interested, now I'm not.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that they don't have any like crazy big tournaments just set 1. So the nice thing is that even though everyone's hyped out about the game, that it kind of makes sense that they didn't do anything competitively, like super competitively, because not everyone got stuff. Now the next set will come out, and then the competitive stuff will really start to start. I know we have the showdowns, but that's still supposed to be. Isn't that the store showdown supposed to be still like not a uber competitive thing?
Still in
I
the
mean,
casual tier,
yeah.
but
It's
They're gonna
still
be
in the casual tier.
if you
So-
offer
right
prizes
now-
like that, people, I mean,
Yeah.
I would expect
Well,
the
yeah,
best decks to
but
be
it's
there. So.
but it's not something like crazy big where you're like, I need to go and I need every single card. So the nice thing is set 2 will come out, and hopefully the supply issues fixed and everyone can get what they want, and then maybe you don't need as much from set 1 because you have some cards from set 2 you can fill out something, so which will be really nice because the whole meta will be changed.
It's going to really depend on how much of like a standalone product set 2 is, in the sense of like, are there deck archetypes that are almost relatively self-contained in set 2 itself? I mean, if you have to augment with staple set 1 cards, particularly like commons and uncommons, that's fine. You can get those for pennies on the dollar for free if you just
That's
ask
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah.
But it is really going to depend if like
guys, I'm really sensitive. You can just stop.
if the decks, like set 2 is still very dependent on things from set 1, specifically legendaries, that could be a bit of a downer.
Yeah, you can't ask me for those. I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, pretty much all in agreement there. Bummer it's out, but I think it speaks for a positive of the game rather than the usual negative
Good game.
from FFG. But yeah, I mean, really good. Echo all those points. And even for anybody who didn't play Destiny, like Scott said, set 2 actually had a pretty rough going as well. But set 3, dude, I remember our local game store still having that product for plenty of
Yep.
time. Like that set 3 seemed like it was a really big print run for what they did as well. So it's not like all 3 of the first year sets of Destiny were small. I think they had some decent size in there. So this print run
And-
must have been very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
And Destiny was the largest release they had done of anything to that point. So
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
And this
It
blows
wasn't-
that out of the water.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. I mean, that's like, yeah.
I remember,
I
I
would
remember
have
being
not gone. I would have not thought like, oh, you're gonna run out of shit in a month.
I remember being tempted to buy Empire War every time I walked in.
Yeah, just up at the top. There's just a row.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Just
like
it's
I, like I
staring at
said,
me. Yeah.
like I said earlier, it was just like by the time they got in front of the supply issues, the demand had slacked a little bit. So that's the hurdle that they're going to come up with now. Can they get in front of the supply issues before the demand slacks?
Yep.
Because unfortunately, collectible card games are very much a like, what have you done for me lately? Like you cannot sustain a collectible card game if you're not bringing out new stuff because that's just what people want. That's kind of the model.
Yeah, and it'll be extra important for this game because they've harped on how important it is for draft. So a continued supplied post-release is also going to be important. So I mean, that's why like I know it's disappointing that stores are only getting 3 boxes per month, but it is nice that it at least allows a store to do a draft once a month of up to 24 players, right? Or up to 16, and then I keep thinking it's 6, but it's 8.
Yeah, you could do 3 weeks worth of drafts at 8 people, but I think releasing it out like the way they are now is the best they can make of a
situation. Yeah.
situation.
Cool. All right, hopping over to the second stream. This one was planned, and we've got a stream every Wednesday this month, which is very nice. Very nice.
So I'm gonna be in Jersey
nice.
every single one then.
Good.
I'm gonna be
Good.
at Jersey next time too. Actually,
Oh, dude.
I won't be able to see you next Wednesdays.
Well, I'll be texting you updates.
You heard it. You heard it here first. Brian is on the Trump Manhattan jury. He is juror number
Yeah, really.
7.
They brought him up from South Jersey.
Yes.
So this past one was a mechanics chat. Just a quick preview. The 24th, the description they have is new to deck building for Unlimited. Join the designers as they break
New
down some
deck building. You just say new deck building?
If you're new to deck building.
Oh, okay. Okay, just checking.
So maybe-
I wasn't sure what kind of stream they're putting on.
No, nude.
That's what it sounded like. It
Okay,
sounded like
buddy.
you said new deck building, dude. I don't know. I just wanted to clarify.
Okay. No, all right, buddy. All right.
Okay. All right. All right.
So
Go back to
That's
sleep.
how Brian does it.
Go back to sleep.
the homework for you guys this week, especially Flock and Brian, is to submit a deck list for this. Really interested to see if they pull yours.
I don't make my own
for the
decks.
24th. You have, and then you sent me 6 turn 1 plays on like a half aggro deck.
No. There's 8. There's 9.
No, there were 12, but 3 of them, 3 were tag and
Oh,
3 were
I
the
just did-
lieutenant.
Yeah, dude, that's fine.
Anyways, so this past Wednesday, they gave us the third and final new keyword that we'll be getting. So the first 2 we got is bounty, which is a reward for like defeating that unit. So you could put a bounty card onto somebody, or you could, as we've seen, the bounty could be just on a card that you play. So it might be an overstated card, but your opponent gets a benefit from when it dies. There's capture, which is a form of temporary removal. Captured unit loses all of its upgrades and is placed face down under the unit that captured it. When the guarding unit leaves play, the captured unit returns to play exhausted under its owner's control. And this does count for Boba Fett, leader of like leaving play. So he would like ready resources off of that. And then the newest one that we got today is smuggle, which means you can play cards from your resource area that have the keyword smuggle.
Did you
So-
say snuggle?
Snuggle, as some would say.
Yeah.
Okay,
Snuggie.
yeah. Okay,
It's
that's what I
snuggie.
thought.
Keyword
It's snuggle.
snuggie.
Yeah. Some alt art misprints, hyperspace versions will say snuggle right on it.
Nice.
But yeah, they showed off some cards with this, which we're not really going to dive into the cards here. We're going to have like a spoiler review of that in a separate video. But we're going to go into the at least the idea of what smuggle is. And I don't know if you guys have ever played. Like this is kind of my first game with this mechanic, so it's really interesting for me.
It's from Versus.
From Versus. I would say I don't think
Yeah.
it's like a new thing. I'm sure many people
No,
pointed this
Versus
for
you
like
could play events from your resource row.
yeah,
So essentially, you would, not in the same manner that they do here. I believe it was you just paid the cost and you like flipped it up, and then you couldn't use it again, but it was still a resource. In this case, you obviously use it, expend it, goes to your discard pile, and then you replace it with another card from the top of your deck.
Yep. So yeah, that's to me one of the points of when they first introduced it. I was like, well, wait, am I just going to go -1 on a resource?
Yeah, then
overall?
it's like nobody's doing smuggling until late game.
Yeah, but after you play a smuggling card, you take the top card of your deck and you put it face down, and you're exhausted. Everything comes in exhausted. So, and one of the things they did clarify too is that the cost to play the smuggling card, you can use that card itself. So
Can and
That makes
should.
it even
can
better.
and should.
That
There's
makes it
pretty
even
much
better.
no reason not to, because you don't want to not spend it and then play it, and then the thing that replaces it is an exhausted resource. So make sure you use the card that you're playing as well. But yeah, initial reactions. Brian, you kick us off.
So I don't know. Like I said last time, I'm not sure if these mechanics are going to be, pivotal to the game, like meta defining or just cutesy. I think Smuggle has more opportunity to be more strategic and more competitive than Capture. Personally, I'm not real big on the Capture mechanic. Personally, I don't think it's. It might be big, it might be good. I personally just don't like it. I hate like the whole the crossing. I hardly even like Traitorous. Traitorous is a good card. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the exchanging of stuff across the table.
He's got a thing with germs.
Well, no, I mean just I don't like. That's how shit gets lost, too.
That is
Like
fair. What it,
that's how we've gotten. How many? I don't know if
Ruthless
any of you-
Raider. I was shuffling
I'll say,
my
weren't you
deck.
shuffling
Yeah.
Yeah.
shuffled a Ruthless Raider. My Ruthless Raider. He gave me the deck to cut, and there was my sleeve on top. I was like, huh? It's
Jack-
amazing that I cut it just perfect like
Yeah,
that
it was
too.
pretty impressive.
And then
That's
Jack had a whole
amazing.
bunch of extra tokens. He had a bunch of 1 damage tokens.
Okay, yeah, you had the extra 1 damage
No,
tokens of
no,
mine and my
Jack-
initiative token.
Jack
mister.
had like 22 before he did his one video. He
That
had, like,
too,
a
yeah.
bunch.
Y'all
And
all
then-
stole my ones. I don't know what happened.
But Flock is also taking my initiative counter every single time.
Every time, dude, he's got sticky
False.
fingers. Every time.
False.
So, but going back to what I'm saying, I don't like the capture mechanic for that reason alone, right? I don't know if it's mechanically sound. I have to see. I haven't played it, obviously, but like, it could be good, could be fun. I personally just don't care for the whole I'm encouraging people to take my cards and put them under their side of the board. Smuggle, I love. Smuggle, I think is a dope mechanic, and it's new to me. And shut up.
He wants to snuggle with the smuggle.
Every time I start talking, she's like, "Me talking to me?" No, I think it's a cool mechanic, and I love that they replace stuff for you. And it's not like you're wasting. You can use it to pay. Like, I think all of that is really mechanically sound, and definitely thought out. But we'll see and how much it actually becomes, relevant or just cutesy.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me as much, I guess, as Brian. Of the trading of cards potentially. So I'm interested in the capture mechanics. In Legends of Runeterra, that became like a pretty consistent card that I played in mine. And it was nice to like do it on my leaders in Runeterra that had like shields and stuff on them too. So it'll be interesting if, those units get a little bit better, and those tactics kind of pop up a little bit more in SWU, right? Like if you capture something under a Crafty or an Iden, or the cat's going crazy, dude. If the capturing's a little bit better under those shielded units, so the opponent will have to take more resources to actually get that unit back, or have to have a card like take down or make an opening.
And the plus side is they get it back exhausted, so minimally you've exhausted a unit.
Yep.
Yep. I mean, I'd even say like my first thought when I was thinking about the capture mechanic is basically it stops 2 types of decks. It stops like the aggro deck, and it kind of stops the control deck. So say you're trying to play like villain control green, and you have a super laser tech, and you want to like ramp up to get high. You can just capture it. And it's like, all right, well, I know you don't want to attack me. Now you got to play a unit or find a way to like get it back. So you got to spend extra resources to get it back to even play the super laser tech. Or even like say like aggro where you want to have you want to flood the board with a bunch of stuff. It's like, well, I'm just gonna take it now, and then do you want it back to do more damage? You gotta attack me versus my base. So you're kind of forcing them to like make decisions on like what they want to do. So that was my first thought with the capture. I'm gonna see how it plays out. Like I've never played with the capture mechanic, so I'm interested to see how it plays out. But I think don't sleep on it because I feel like it's going to force you to make decisions that you might not actually want to do. So keep that in mind with that. And like the smuggle, I think is freaking fantastic because they didn't clarify in the video right away that like the card you're playing is part of the cost. So I was like, this seems like really odd because then you're playing like basically a resource down. Then when they explained that, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Like I get that there's going to be a penalty, like it's going to cost more to smuggle something in, but it's also increasing your hand size, which is fantastic. So it's like you're like, well, this card is a smuggle card. I'm not playing it now. This is an easy resource, and it increases your hand pool because you have your cards in your hand plus this card you put down for smuggle, and you always have to have that in mind. So I think they're both great. They make you think, and also it makes you like wonder, what else do they have? Like, do they have this when you're looking at the opponent? You're like, okay, what do they have in their hand? You're thinking, okay, what could they smuggle in? So it's like an extra layer of the game that you have to be thinking about and conscious of.
Now you got to start bluffing. You got to start checking your resources, even if you don't have anything there, to make your
Yeah,
opponent
true.
think you might have something there.
Flock?
True.
Flock?
But yeah, no, I agree on the smuggling. I think I disagree on the capture of control. If I'm an item player and if you spend your resources capturing my unit and not killing me,
I mean, there's
Yeah.
probably gonna be a
Okay.
unit that's like capture. And you play capture a unit. Like, there's got to be one where you play a unit, get to capture something.
yeah,
like,
but think about how understated that probably is if it's a 3 cost. Like if you're playing it on curve essentially to capture my super laser tech, it's probably like a 2/2 4 cost or something like that.
2 damage.
Hey,
Don't sleep on it. Don't
Yeah.
sleep on it.
no, I mean I like
heard-
it, and
heard it
I
here
like it
first.
in the idea of like Mando. I think a mid range is probably like where the capture mechanic will probably be best because it's probably
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just have to see. We don't have enough cards to really make like a true judgment
Yeah.
on that.
No,
But-
I tend to agree. I'm against a control deck. They're fine if you're just spending your resources to non-permanently take their units, especially because they're just gonna try and clear the board anyway. So it's like I'm gonna kill that thing. I was gonna. Now I'm gonna get my gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean all these I'm excited. It's hard to like fully wrap your head around like all this stuff until we get it. There were some interesting things like you don't pay the aspect on the card that's in the top left corner. You only pay the aspect that is in this the smuggle keyword. So a lot of times it's still pretty much the same, but they did show ones where it was different. It was like a red blaster, but if you smuggled it, it was actually cunning. It had a cunning icon. So you'd have to pay 3, and you would have to have cunning in your deck. So if you don't, you'd then have to pay 5 for that blaster if you didn't have cunning, and you were trying to smuggle it in.
It's basically forcing you. It's basically saying like this card is for an aggression cunning deck, or conversely, it's for a cunning deck and you never play it as a regular drop.
Yeah. Which you probably like are fine with that trade off because it was just like +2 if it's just for 1, which like isn't necessarily terrible, but you want to smuggle it because then you can attack with it, which is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, any other thoughts on the new keywords we got? I'm excited to see mainly the leaders at this point now. I want to see how they interact with these keywords. If there's a leader that like
Yeah, because that feels like that's going to be one of the bigger things. And like I said earlier, and like how good is set 2 self-contained? The fact that there's these keywords that these leaders might have interactions with could be a boon to it being very much like a its own playground with a lot of decks coming from it that are not as dependent on set 1 card.
totes magoats, and I feel like smuggle will be the biggest of the 3, if I had to guess, because they held it back and then did a whole live stream just for it. So
Yeah, smuggle is the most interesting one just because it opens up it opens up a lot of real estate that we previously didn't have, and especially with like the weird cross costing thing, and like they got smuggle the way that they cost the smuggle, it really kind of impacts the card itself.
Yep. Dude, more of a reason not play control though too. Got all these people checking their resources every 10 seconds.
And
Prolonging
also
the
being
game.
able to play stuff out of their resources.
Yeah.
So it's like, they overplay their hand and they super laser blast. All of a sudden, they're coming out of the woodwork from resources.
Yep. But yeah, no, I'm very, very excited. I'm still very much enjoying set 1. I feel like there's still a lot to explore that I want to play. But set 2 got me real excited.
Is rigid.
All right, so that's everything from the Wednesday stream, at least on my end. We're going to jump in and just kind of give quick meta thoughts. Florida is having a 5K this Sunday. Last we heard, it's pretty decently over 100 people. Haven't seen like an update since then, so it'll probably be the biggest event that we have seen yet for SWU, and I believe the biggest reward as well. I think some of the other ones have been like a 1K, or maybe there's might have been a case tournament as well, which is pretty big. And especially now with boxes at like $200, a case tournament is.
But at the time, a case tournament was only like $700.
Yeah. But yeah, so I basically just want to see where you guys are at. What do you think is gonna do well? And then even like for us, if we're going to this, if we were going, none of us are. What do you think you would bring? Would you run back your? I mean, I know what Scott would bring, but would the rest of us run back our 1K from PA decks? Would we bring something new? I guess we can start off with that. Scott, you bringing Palperet again?
Yeah, I mean, it's got a shit aggro matchup, but it's not like that was an unknown quantity. It's got to hope you dodge enough of them and hope you dodge them at the right times, but it still has a really good matchup against Boba Fett, and that's going to be one of the most like omnipresent decks because it probably is the thing that like plays at least somewhat capably across the board. Control, like there's other control variants. I'm not really worried about with them with Palpatine. Like I would be very happy to just play other control matchups all day. Just think Palpatine is very leverageable in that situation and can just be a trump card in and of himself. And then you just have to navigate the matchup. Make sure you don't get blown out by any plays, like by any super lasers. Make sure you're just not overextending where you need to, and you're just playing tight to the vest. And yeah, I think you can do very well in event just by feasting on all of the mid-range decks that are too slow, and just being better, like just being a better player against the control decks, and just hoping you don't play much aggro.
And if you're interested in more of a breakdown on that, Scott wrote an article at deployyourleader.com, and so you can check out his.
I did.
His deck, how he did specifically, and then also maybe some changes or how things fell in there. So.
There's some things that are like kind of in motion with that, but not too many.
Yeah,
not like there's that many options.
Yeah. Flock, you played what? Vader Green.
Yeah, I played Vader Green.
Would you run that back?
Potentially, I'd probably get off ECL and go to the 30 health base, if I were to do it again. But I don't know. I feel like Vader was good, but I could not keep up with aggro at all, and I think aggro is still a deck that people are playing. Like Sabine and Leia are still high up there. So I don't know. I kind of would go a slightly off thing. I'd either try my Cassian deck that I built with Shane, because some people don't know how to play against it at all. They don't know what you're doing. So I kind of like that one. Or the Churro deck, because it's been kicking my butt, and kind of like it.
Yeah, bro's just building my deck.
Yeah, I just literally copied your deck.
He's just a dirty net decker.
Yeah.
Dirty.
I'll probably make a lot of changes because it's too good of a deck, so I need to make some changes.
Yeah, wait,
to
you
it.
said you like playing like off meta stuff, but now you're telling me that Churro's like the best deck, and now you're playing it?
I'm not saying he's the best deck.
I
wouldn't be playing if he was the best deck.
It's still off meta. It's not like he's.
It's
really,
still off meta.
lighting up the.
Bro, I put him top 5. I'd say Churro Aggression top 5 deck.
But where, I'm saying that is not borne out by results at the moment.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't really. Yeah, I don't know. Some of the people that I've seen on it, I feel like haven't actually been to events, so I'm curious if anybody shows up with it and
Maybe it wins
Please.
Florida. Churro deck, dude.
Why aren't you flying down there? What do you got, kids?
Strawberry churro, dude.
strawberry churro.
Yeah.
That's funny. Brian, what about you? You played Pal Blue.
Yeah, I played Pal Blue. I think the controls kind of like the place I want it to be. As far as my personal playstyle, that's what I prefer to play the most. Don't really care for aggro, me personally, and Palpatine just feels good to me. Like he just feels like a really solid deck. And that's whether you play him blue, red, yellow,
Allegedly. There might have
allegedly.
been a video released about that yesterday.
Could
Today.
be. There might have been video evidence of me getting my ass beat.
That's just,
There's a
I
lot
mean, that's
of that,
everywhere. You
Brian.
got to be more
Yeah.
specific about.
I'll take that from everyone but Flockton.
What?
God, when's the last time you won, dude? The ages.
Deck.
Is there evidence?
Yeah,
Oh, that
My
doesn't count.
Luke's
That
fucked up his arrow.
mono. No.
dude.
Anyway, Palpatine just feels
Stank.
really good. Into a lot of different things, and I think that I can refine that list a little more than I had at the 1K. That's probably what I would take. Nothing else really jumps out to me immediately. I have been enjoying Chewbacca, but Chewbacca just doesn't feel like he can go the distance, right? I feel like he's gonna get torn up by a bunch of different stuff.
Unless you're just playing into all aggro.
Right. And the field was actually pretty varied. I didn't see any of that variation. I played like 5 Vaders and a Boba, but like
Yeah, I played 3 Bobas.
yeah. So I mean, I saw that there was a lot of variation at the event we were at, and I think that you know, an event of even bigger size, you know, you've got a lot more variation there too. So it's tough, like rock paper scissors of what you want to do, right? Like, but I think if you're going to an event like this, you just got to find your comfort zone, right? Like jam the games, play the reps, find your archetype, and stick to it. And just you know, play into everything. So repeat, baby.
I
And
agree with
with a legal deck this time. Sorry.
yeah.
Yes.
We got a question for that later. So don't have to
Do-
dive into
yes,
that
we
too
do.
much.
I was about to say.
Agree with an asterisk because yeah, play what you're comfortable with, but sometimes there's just even if you're comfortable on like a bad deck, I struggle to see like some things like rising to the top, even if you're comfortable with like mono, Jin, cunning or something like that. I think you still get stomped by a good amount of stuff. For me,
I think there might be a limit to, how much you can leverage individual experience, especially at like set 1. Like your card pool is so limited that you're just like, all right, like, yeah, we get it. This is your pet project, but numbers.
yeah, and there's definitely like a few, like we've talked about the big 3 before of Sabine Green, Boba Green, Iden Green, and then I think there's definitely a handful of decks that are like right behind those 3 that are all worth a shout and definitely like fall into that range of like, and I think like for example, Pal Blue falls into that. So like I agree with Brian of like that's a good deck if you're comfortable with it, play it. Like I think you have a good chance, and there probably is a world where you could tech to try to bring that aggro a little closer. You're still never going to get it close to 50-50, but you could at least have some options because you roll control so much. Maybe you could main board a few things for aggro type thing. But yeah, I played Sabine Green. I think if I was going this weekend, I think I would play Churro Aggression. That's just the deck I've been playing the most lately, and I feel like it does have some legs. Its worst matchup is Boba, so that scares me a little bit. But
that's the same thing for Sabine.
Yes. Yeah. I'm curious how close we could get both those, because I was actually like somewhat comfortable going into Boba, even though I still like was sweating. And I did beat a Boba at the 1K in that final round.
Yeah, but you lost to a Tarkin.
I did lose to a Tarkin, and I think with Churro I just crushed that. But
I think Sabine is a very linear deck. It has one game plan, and all of its cards support that game plan because they're all very redundant. It's like I play an A-Wing, or I play an X-Wing, or I play a Battlefield Marine, or I play a Sabine. and then I play a fleet lieutenant or I play a wing leader, but the same thing is going on. So I think it can be a deck that like does not allow you to at times like work your way out of a jam because of what it does is just like I'm so on rails.
Yeah, I think the biggest skill expression of it is like the mirrors. I've seen like a lot of tight plays and a lot of misplays that have like thrown games for people.
Yeah, I think like the big I think in general the biggest skill expression with that is knowing when to not use your Sabine ability and taking the initiative instead. Because
Mhm.
that is the thing that is like the biggest thing in playing a matchup that does not like has a bad aggro matchup that swings it a lot. If someone's just like I'm going to Sabine every turn because that's what I do, you're like thanks, I yes
I'll take
please
initiative and kill your ready unit every single round.
yes I will trade one I'll
Yes.
gladly we can go 1 for 1 and I will remove your 3 attack 4 attack 5 attack before you get to do anything.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So yeah, I'm playing Chert. The rest of you are running back. Flock changing his base.
Well, I might go Churro.
You might go
Cassian.
Chert. Yeah, you might copy me.
Like I might copy you. You know, it's a team deck. It's a team deck. We
Uh,
help.
so what did you
Yeah.
add to make it a team deck?
I put heroic sacrifice in it.
Oh,
It was
okay.
good with K2SO.
He's not even the main deck anymore. Get him out.
He's in my deck.
Brian, if you're talking, we can't hear you. But yeah, he got taken. So that's the contention spot in Chert right now is between Kanan, Baze, and K2. K2's sideboard because I feel like he's only good against control, whereas the other two have games
Yeah.
into Boba and aggro.
Yeah, Baze is after I played Baze with the that Grand Inquisitor deck, dude, he's really good.
Yeah, he can
Really good.
he can really eat if Churret has initiative going into that turn where Boba's at like at 5 and you're
Yeah.
at 4. Even just
Yeah.
playing Baze with the initiative and then giving him +2, so he's like eating
Yup.
a lot of stuff. And even OB at that time won't get him because he would be at +7.
Mm-hmm.
Or well,
Yep.
sorry, he would be at 7 health and write
Yeah.
the best,
Yeah.
the highest stat at that time at 5. I mean, they could ECL it over, but then you're taking no damage from ECL from the Steadfast Battalion with Boba. They can't overwhelming barrage because the highest it would go is 6. So I mean, they could right OB, but then he eats it all, and then they like throw a block or some chumpy unit, their crafty smuggler or something into him to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But you just taking 6 off that is a lot better than
Yeah.
what could
Yeah,
have been
you're
with other
eating you're
terms.
eating a 4 and you're eating a 5 play and a 2 or a 1 or whatever. You're just for a 4, so math is working in your favor there, and that's like the pivot point when you're dealing with like those efficiency plays out of Boba is like you just need to make the math work in your favor because that's what he's trying to do.
Yep. Yeah, if you can make his 8 resource turn on turn 4 a lot more tempered, or turn 3 a lot more tempered, then you got a chance into it.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I've really liked him. Been a lot of fun with that. So I don't think the meta has shifted too much. Like since we've done that, if anybody is interested in like results and like kind of just meta articles, Garbage Rollers have been putting out Meta Monday articles, kind of at least like recapping who won and what's been going on. There has been a Take the Initiative League. There's currently Grand Inquisitor Green in the top 4 right now, going crazy. There was a Win-a-Box tournament in the UK, 44 people, and Boba won that. I don't see what color. Probably just ECL. Yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, ECL.
Hans are apparently very popular in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cincinnati 1K. Don't see how many players they have, but the top 4 players were 2 Han Greens, a Han Blue, and a Boba Green, but they split the prize and didn't play out the top 4.
Yeah, you can split the prize and still play the games.
Yes. So currently PA 1K, shout out to everybody still actually playing the games. Because then we also have the Atlanta 1K. Star City Games ran that with 60 players. The top 8 decided to split the prizes, but they included Sabine Green, Palp Blue, Vader Blue, Boba Green, Krennic Green, Boba Yellow, Sabine Yellow, and Iden Green.
That should be
and
the
they
requirement.
top
You can
eight.
split. You can chop up prizes, but you got to still play.
Yeah. One thing
You
with
can
all of that
concede at any time.
is you can concede at any time. It's really cool that how much like different the decks are. You know, I feel like there's been just a lot of like good diversity within Top Cuts so far.
I think a good meta, really good meta.
I think like Vader Blue. Do we have that deck list? I don't know. Vader Blue might be an interesting one from the standpoint of like, it's a villain deck that doesn't require you to spend $300 on unit Vader.
You can play Vader, just not the unit.
Yeah, I got Vader at home.
Yeah. From what I understand,
Vader
Vader
at
Blue is
home.
super interesting. It's like similar in that all removal Iden
Yeah.
deck, but it almost doesn't take Vader out at 7. You go to 8, you super laser blast, and then you take Vader out to keep control of the board, which is interesting.
You're playing that situation of like once you super laser down the board, Vader just can dominate it. I just wonder like how that can, without the ramp, how it can play into like the mid range decks necessarily.
Yep. All right, yeah, so that's the meta going into this weekend. Top 8, like what are we feeling? Don't have to necessarily do like exact unless you really want to, but I'm feeling like
Boba. 1 through 8 Boba.
I don't think so, man. I don't even think like Boba is a huge gatekeeper in the meta, but I don't think he's like the top dog. I think he like crushes every mid-range deck, so that's why there's not a lot of like. That's why you don't see like Luke Green, or like you haven't seen Churits before, like Chewbacca's mainly. But like, dude, Palpatine just straight up rolls him, man. I even feel like Iden just rolls him. Iden Green.
Yep.
I mean, he's still good, so he's still going to be the top cut, right? I would say like top 8. I bet there could be like, 2 of them. That'd be my guess.
All right, no, for a serious answer, let me think about it, right? Okay, so you're gonna see 2 Bobas, 1 Vader.
What color?
You're gonna see probably ECO.
Yeah.
You're gonna see 1 Palpatine. It's a 50-50 on blue or red. I'm not really sure.
It'll probably be blue. I think that's the more like what people. That's the more default one.
Yeah, safer choice.
Vigilance, baby.
Yeah. So what did I say? 2 Bobas, a Vader, a Palpatine, probably 2 Sabines, and then you're gonna see 1 Krennic. Krennic with ECO. And then you're gonna see. I'm gonna throw it out probably like a Grand Inquisitor. But color is questionable. I'm not really sure where that one lands.
Dude, the disrespect to the girl, to Iden. No Idens in the top 8.
He's still got. He's at 8 at this point, or Flock
I'm at
can't
8.
count.
I'm at 8.
Yeah, Falk
That
was
was 8.
He can count. He can't read. Actually, he can count, dude. Playing against him with all these ones that he has on his base, and he's like, "What am I at now?" I'm like, "I don't know, dude."
I thought I won the one game. Who went back?
Yeah, he's like, "I'll win a surprise strike." I'm like, "Flock, you're short. I'll kill you. I'll swing back and kill you." Anyways, yeah. I mean, I don't like hate that. I probably would say like Iden over the Krennic list. Like I don't totally love Krennic anymore. I just don't know what he does that like that same exact color pairing with ECL that Iden just doesn't do better. And then I feel like he's just worse into other controls because she can like play more events, whereas like if he gets away from units, the point of him is just kind of worse.
Yeah. If you slotted the Iden instead of the Krennic, it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I mean some of these Krennics are cracked. You know, they just have the sauce that day. You never know. I like Iden still. I think Iden's really good. I think Iden's still obviously the big 3, but I don't know. People might want to start expanding their horizons, thinking outside the box, trying new stuff. And that might lead to another. Lockton's IG might pop up. I'm just kidding. That's crazy. That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. He's terrible.
Don't get my hopes up, dude. Don't get my hopes up.
I'll copy you and say, but Churrit over. Obviously, Iden over Krennic, but then, like I said, Churrit
over Grand Inquisitor.
Grand Inquisitor. That'll be mine.
I thought you might. Yeah, that's why I gave you the little leeway there. You want to copy,
Yeah.
I'll copy you, Brian, but I'll do
I'll do 4 Cassians.
Yep.
Chewy over Krennic, and then I'll do what's the other leader that I was thinking of? Oh, I think Churro will be in there. So Churro over our Grand Inquisitor.
Daring today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Daring today. Any other decks, Scott, that you think might get thrown into the mix?
I mean, Han seems to be, the popular up and comer this week. So
Yeah, No Good to Me Dead really fell off. That was his big like silver bullet, and now like you don't really see that card being slotted into main decks too much.
Like I said, it helps that the control decks are all coming into the meta and pushing Boba down a little bit. So if you can dodge it, and none of the control decks really are yellow at all.
Yeah.
So not many decks are having No Good to Me Dead there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I still think, yeah, there's going to be like 2 Bobas. Yeah, I think there'll be 2 aggro. I could see like a world where it's like 1 Sabine Green and like 1 Leia Tarkin Talon, but I do think Leia is just generally worse at what it wants to do compared to Sabine, and also just loses that like matchup. But I do like Tarkin Talon a lot in this like ECL meta. But I think in an aggro matchup where one has ECL and one doesn't, it's kind of like if they ECL K2 and do like 2 to base, and then they Tarkin Talon your K2, like I won
you
that.
won that exchange.
So
yeah, I think Tarkin Town can be a very good response to ECL, not when you're playing a short game.
Yep.
It's like an efficiency play in the long run, but it doesn't work if you're playing we're games done at resource 6.
Yep. All right. Any other thoughts on kind of the meta? We talked about what we would bring, and we'll jump into some listener questions unless anybody has any other thoughts.
Yeah.
Cool.
Meta's good and spicy.
Spicy chili, dude. Chili. All right. Hopping over to our questions. Shout out to Pale. We've kind of just had the thing up, and you can ask whenever, and he's asked a few questions throughout the last 2 weeks. And so these 3 are from him. And he says, what deck would you run if you're going to play in a tournament but have no idea what the local meta is like? I still think it kind of goes to what we probably all would say the decks that we said for the 5K. But I also think like part of it is like local metas, like generally when they get to a competitive level, usually will be similar to what like the meta of the game is. So I wouldn't like spend too much time trying to like think about that. I would just kind of try to play what you think is like the best deck into the general field and what you feel like gives you the best shot at like winning too. So, and get a bunch of reps on that and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like you could run into a place where it's like a weird alternative universe where everybody just runs Leia, and it's like just that's the thing. But the odds are once you start like adding more people in, things normalize.
Yep.
Because everybody's asking themselves the same question, so you just end up with a generalized meta.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Second question from his. What will we see first? A leader who deploys to space or a leader without a heroic or villainy aspect?
Block. What are you doing?
Oh, is this where he responded Leia? And
Yeah.
then sent the gif of her flying into
Yeah.
space?
Yeah, I think Leia is going to be the first space leader unit.
No. No, thank you.
Well, when she gets deployed, she is frozen in space.
I don't know if we are
leader comes deployed exhausted, and the next turn, freaking.
I'm exhausted listening to you.
Like a
Say,
10-10,
wait, who's
dude,
exhausted
like
here?
a 10-10. Holy.
The
The 10-10 becomes an exhausted when deployed. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't want to say never that we're
Put
going
the
to get
picture
a
down,
space
Tyler.
unit, but I think we're
It's almost
probably
done.
like a space leader. I think is like very, very, very far in the future, just because of how vulnerable a lot space can be. Just in a lot of cases, just because there aren't as many units.
Yeah, you could just straight up take over a game. Like if there's like a good statted leader that comes out at 5 or something in space, they could just totally turn the tide of a game. Yeah, I think you need almost like the first 3 sets to like flesh out the game, and then maybe we start seeing some space units.
Well, will the leader
Or
be
space
like? Will the leader be like in a in a like
A spaceship.
a spaceship, but then
Yeah.
you can't force choke it. You know what I mean?
I mean, no, it's probably a vehicle. It probably could have a vehicle
the-
trait on
Yeah,
the flip
probably is
side.
the
That's
vehicle
the word
trait.
vehicle. I couldn't think of the word vehicle. Vehicle. So yeah.
Like, yeah, no, if they make Wedge Antilles, they can make him a space unit. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a very weird thing to
Yeah, very
balance
weird.
out because when you have every other hero deploying in the ground, it's just like, all right, you can balance. Yeah, it's easier to balance around that. Once you like throw one in space, all of a sudden it's like, shit, I got to include more space units in case I play this one space thing, and it just skews too much.
Yeah.
Space is tough. Space is tough. It's hard
If
to
I did
balance
have to
around.
pick, though, I would say we get a space leader before.
A single aspect, or before a non-vil. I think we're gonna get one of those before we get a space unit.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one because immediately my mind jumps right to Emphas Nest that we saw art of. And in Destiny, Emphas Nest was a neutral.
She'll just be double cunning.
So that could just be a double cunning unit.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say that's more likely before we get a space leader.
Yeah.
Flock.
Leia.
Okay. All right. On to
Why
did
you
his
ask him?
final.
Obviously.
His
And
final
space.
question. What kind of prep do you do for your all-day tournament/events? Do you get fresh sleeves, snacks, drinks, multiple copies of a deck list? Do you have a friend double-check your deck list? Brian,
should.
maybe
All
you
right.
adopt
So
that
do
last
you want
one.
to know what you should do versus what happens? Yes, you should change your sleeves before a large event. Sleeves can become incidentally marked as you were just shuffling them. So you should always like fresh sleeves before you're gonna have like an event where you're gonna get deck checked or there's gonna be something along those lines. Like like the sleeves that I have now, the FFG ones, they do not survive my like ham-fisted shuffling technique. So like I would not be able to run them in another event. And even like at the 1K that we went to when they did the deck checks, they're like, your sleeves are all banged up, but they're all banged up. I'm like, yeah, that's but you don't want to be in a situation where you're somehow ending up on the TO's radar because you have accidentally marked cards, which can happen if say you like bring a card that was in your sideboard normally into your main board, and that sleeve could have gotten way less ding. Or when you sideboard in cards, those sideboard cards could have way less wear and tear on it, and it can just be a situation where you can tell.
Yep.
And that is a problem. That is not legal, not good.
And bring extra sleeves too.
Yes.
Don't just bring the exact 60.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. You're gonna split one.
Yeah.
You should have your deck set the night before.
Okay, all right. Let's not go that far.
You should have your deck set the night before. You should not be like packing cards away the morning
Wait,
of.
so I shouldn't bring my entire collection in my trunk as we go to?
I disagree.
You shouldn't bring your entire collection.
I disagree.
And you lost a round because your deck was illegal.
Disagree.
I disagree. Honestly, that's your fault. I blame you entirely on that.
That's my fault.
Yeah, You decided at like 11:45 at night, like play another Palpatine best of 3 mirror with me, and then I got home and was like, I need to make changes now, and then I woke up at like the buck crack of dawn, and I sleepily grabbed a cargo juggernaut instead of a system patrol craft that were right next to each other.
Yeah, but
The
like,
time was of the essence.
And if you had not made any changes to your deck in the morning, you would have been fine.
I didn't make changes to my deck. I made changes at 2 a.m.
I would also advise like to like check your like when I wrote my deck that morning because I didn't bring like a pre-printed one. I laid out like my actual deck and like wrote it in that way.
Or if you have a pre-printed one, you should still do that.
Still then check through that, yeah. Which SwooDB does have. You can print out deck
I
lists.
used it. Yeah.
You did, and he got a game loss. Or round loss.
I did
Or-
not.
Yeah, and next time,
You
fell
could have
on
gotten
his
away
sword.
with it. He was too honest. You literally could have
He
got
fell
away
on
with
his
it.
sword.
Resources.
Okay,
all
so if
that.
Flock ever plays you, check his entire deck before and after you play.
Yeah.
Dear
he's
Lord.
cheating.
This guy is
The
not
sec-
telling new players they can take out leaders. He's
Yeah.
saying sneaking
No,
cards because
no,
nobody's
no,
going to
no, no, no.
check.
No, that never
Oh,
happened.
God.
That never happened.
No, no.
No, no,
No,
no.
no.
I said
I don't agree. I don't agree.
don't agree. You're
right.
wrong. Sorry for cussing. No, but that situation was I was like, I'm not gonna tell them that they can win when
No.
they use Sabine action
Stop.
damage.
Stop.
So
we've already
I
talked
would
about this to
also
death.
recommend, yes, like packing a water bottle, even packing like some type of like sugary thing. If you like sodas and stuff like that.
Shouldn't be drinking that.
No, I could see a soda. Get some little sugars in there, and then some snacks.
Yeah, snacks are important. But I
like pistachios, without
Protein.
the
I
shell.
want protein.
Bust out that
Pistachios.
sirloin steak.
Dude,
In between
what's the
rounds.
next question?
That's the last one.
Was it
Oh no, we
Foreman
have one more.
grill?
One
No,
more.
there's
one
more.
Bust out like a Foreman grill, start cooking up some steaks.
So just one more thing before we move on. Yes, you should proofread your decks, especially if you do print it out and you decide to make any last minute changes. Luckily for me, I had everything that I needed with me, and I brought like 4 or 5 decks, right? But it is important, and you should, if you do run into a situation like that, you should be honest, flock, and concede. I conceded the second I realized. And I apologize profusely. Even though that's certainly
Bro,
not
I don't think
important.
that you need to apologize to the guy. You conceded to him. He's probably like, do it again. Like I
Yeah.
love if all my
Yeah,
opponents did this.
Well, actually, he was disappointed. He was like, "This was going to be a good game. I think we both got stuff we wanted, and it was going to be tight." And I was like, "Yeah, it wasn't going to be a good game. My hand was rocking, except for the illegal
None of the
card
cards
that
were
was
in my
in it,
deck list, man. It's about to pop.
Yeah,
off.
exactly. I was gonna say a cargo juggernaut. I was about to pop off with that turn too, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm
Anyway.
trying to think
Cargo
of what
Juggernaut
I'm
does.
trying to think of what the penalty would be in Flesh and Blood for that. I actually don't think it would be a game loss.
Well, they're best of one, so it's like a little harder. Whereas this,
Oh, no,
I
I
think
don't-
you
yeah,
just get the
that's-
game loss.
I don't even think I'm trying to think of it, even if it's like a intellect penalty. I think you might just get like the sternest slap on the wrist, so long as your deck was actually legal. Like your deck was illegal because it did not match your deck list. I suppose that's a bigger problem if you're playing open deck list. If you're playing open deck list and your deck list doesn't match your deck list, then you're like kind of conning your opponent out of things. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then last question, I have streamer mode enabled, so I can't actually see what his name is. It starts with a T in our Discord.
Taserface.
Taserface?
Taserface.
Love it. They asked a question. Do you think we'll see enough extra characters in set 2 to make going monocolors a real viable strategy, or will we have to wait for set 3 for that to become a possibility? I think there's a good
Define
chance set
viable.
2. I mean, there's a lot of ones that are like close right now, but
Luke.
Sure. No, but like Boba, I do think is pretty good. I
Yeah.
actually
Oh
think some of
my
the aggression
God.
decks like aren't terrible.
This man is Scop
I-
2.0.
The who?
You. Sure it.
Oh, I never
Sure it.
played
Sure.
Mono
Marry
Turret.
him.
I never. You
Marry
played
him.
Mono
Marry
Turret.
him.
Marry him.
You smacked me for like 20 with like 2 Electra Staffs, a Luke, and a Jedi Saber one time.
That's great.
Um,
I should play more Churret.
but
Should. Sure,
I think a lot of these decks are close, and just the fact I know like everybody's doubling their card pool in a sense, but I think these mono decks doubling their card pool is going to be really good because you also just get like the neutrals, and then you also get like the heroism or villainy, whatever side you're on. Like I'm thinking like Palp Green is like a pretty good deck. It's just like green's weird because there's no removal, and if you're playing a ramp or a control deck, you kind of want some removal in your deck outside of something like Strike True.
Mhm.
So that is that's my thing. I think they'll get better, even for someone like Green, which has arguably the worst double aspect cards.
Yeah.
It ramps.
You don't like Pawn Crow, bro?
No, and I don't like attack pattern.
You don't like Attack Pattern
and I don't
Delta,
like
bro?
Rallying Cry. They're probably like the
I think-
3
I think Command sucks too.
rough ones. Command's pretty rough. Yeah,
Command
was-
sucks
it
just
was-
because of the non-unique thing.
like it could be
Otherwise
the
it'd be
perfect
great.
removal for these mono green decks, but I get
Yep.
them not wanting to like a card like that to like snipe leaders because you get 2 experience.
Mm-hmm.
But like just make it like non-leaders and then boom. But I mean, dude,
Yeah.
2 experience in like a resource is pretty good. It's just like the resource becomes totally irrelevant late game, so then the end of the game, it's like
What
I
else
don't
do you
really like
pick?
any of these options. So yeah, I think they'll get better. I think they're kind of close right now. It almost is like a shame that Boba Yellow's worst matchup is Boba Green. So it's like that deck could be a mono deck could be relevant, but one of the most popular decks is its direct counter. So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the monocolor decks are very close. So I think one more set will make them better. Like even thinking about my Luke, just looking at the deck list I have right now, like there's like 3 or 4 cards, even 5 cards that are 3 ofs that I like don't want in there, but I need them in there.
So why are they in there over Vanquish?
Yep.
It's
Stop
not-
talking. Your point is moot right now, baby.
All right, I'll put Vanquish in there. Fine, whatever. I'll take out I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway, there's a
I
few
want to
cards
know
in
what the
there.
card is that you're taking out.
I don't know. Like, so I have 21 ground units, 14 space units.
Oh my god. Can we end
12
this?
12 events. Do I want to go up to like 15 events?
My
You don't
favorite
need
is
to
that you
suspect
let
the
off with,
public.
I've got 6 cards that I want to cut, and then we're like, what cards? And you're like, yeah, I'm
I
not
don't know.
totally sure.
So no, the cards I want to cut are going
No.
to be R2D2. I'm not a huge fan of Rebel Pathfinder. Alliance X-Wing could definitely easily go. So those are the 3 cards right off the bat that I would easily get rid of in that deck.
I don't think you're going to get
So-
that many turn 1 plays in the next set.
You don't think so?
Why is that so sad? You
That
don't
are like
think so?
better than that. R2 is like one of the best ones, man. You like shield him and then wing leader him. He's a 3/6 with a shield.
No.
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 Anyways,
Oh.
we still got a spoiler thing to do. So, any other thoughts
All right,
on this podcast?
Not
Head
over.
empty.
Started
Boston
empty,
started
left
with none.
empty, and
Yep.
hopefully we all made you empty as well.
Oh.
Uh,
Hey, what?
I don't know.
Excuse me?
So, anyways, be sure to check out our YouTube if you're listening. We do YouTube. We do daily gameplay, daily videos. We got some
YouTube.
deck techs coming up. Appreciate you tuning in and appreciate you watching. And we'll catch y'all
Shooting in.
next time. Deuces.